Coming at you live, coming at you live. What up, what up? It's your boy Skillz. We got Skillz on cards. We're going to continue the series we started with 2023 Topps Baseball. Today we're going to get into pile number 6, which will cover card numbers 126 through 150. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got to cover the photos, we got to cover the graphics, we got to cover the printing errors, the typos, because there's enough of those. I'm sure we'll find at least one in this pile. So stay here, stay right here, enjoy the show. Skillz on cards, pile 6. We'll kick things off with card number 126, Harold Castro, the infielder for the Detroit Tigers, who I could never get separated from Willie Castro. I can never tell which one was which, no matter how hard I tried, and I tried many times to try to discern them in some way, but when they played together anyway, it was just a problem. It didn't really solve itself until Willie went away, I believe, to the Twins. Harold Castro, put us in decent numbers for the for the Detroit Tigers over the years. And just check out his reverse. Consistently high batting average and the capability to play all over the diamond. And I'm having a hard time reading this. Let's add some light. Make Harold an endlessly valuable player. In 2021, he ended a perfect game bid by singling with 2 outs in the 8th. We'll have that in the notes. And last May 25th, he delivered his first multi-homer game by going deep twice in the span of 3 innings. So yeah, Castro showed some pop, things like that, but 23 he slumped, 24 he ended up in the Mexican League, and by 25 he was in camp. This year he was in camp with the Royals. I don't think he made the roster. I think he's in their AAA system still. So that's Harold Castro. Card number 126. Card number 127, Shea Langeliers, which I'm sure I've screwed that up somehow. Young catcher for the Oakland A's. Had a pretty good season in 22. Then in 23 and 24, he had 20 plus home runs in each of those seasons. Let's check out the blurb. Shea was acquired in the athletic swap of Matt Olson to Atlanta during 22 spring training, which I did not know. Made his debut in August of 22. Although he's outstanding defensively, he split time between catcher and DH. Langeliers doubled on the first pitch he saw as a big leaguer. Then in the same week, ended Oakland's MLB record streak of 81 games without a triple. I had no idea about that. And your catcher should be the one ending your triplest streak. But what do I know? This is a whole new era of baseball. Things are different now. In 2025, last I checked, he's already up to 3 home runs so far this season. So Langeliers off to a good year, off to a good start for this Sacramento Athletics. Yes, I'm going to call him that if they don't like it tough. Card number 128 is Mr. Alex Baum. He's been he's been a very good player for the Phillies at times. He's been a not so good player for the Phillies at times. But right now he is their third baseman at last check. In 2022, he batted, let's see here, 280 with 13 homers, 72 RBI. That was his second year in the major leagues, second year where he played extensively. Blurb says he did a complete 180 from a tepid 2021 season to realize his long-held promise as an offensive force in 22. He was vicious in July, when his .434 average was the Phillies' highest in a month since 07. I will have that in notes for you as well. Baum ended up making the All-Star team in 2024. He played a lot of first base for the Phillies at one point when Bryce Harper couldn't, and at last check, he was still holding things down in Philadelphia very well. That's card number 128, Alec Baum. Card number 129 is Nolan Jones, and I had not heard of Nolan Jones, at least not that I remember, until spring training this year when he was traded back to the Guardians. But he's a Guardian here, you wonder. Yeah, Jones was traded to the Colorado Rockies in 23 camp, and he stayed with them for a couple years, didn't do a whole lot, but he was still in high enough demand to where the Guardians wanted him back for 25. I don't know what role he's in right now, but let's see. The micro blurb says, in his first 4 major league games, beginning with his July 22 debut, Nolan went 7 for 13 with a homer, 2 doubles, and 8 RBI. Now, somehow that escaped me, but good for him. That impact stick is part of the reason he ranked among the MLB.com top 100 prospects for 3 straight years. Well, you think 3 straight years, you think eventually you'd be called up, but what do I know? Jones brandishes, or you called up, you stay up. Jones brandishes a fantastic arm, which helped facilitate his recent transition from third base to the outfield. So he went from Arenado to Jones. There's a Rockies joke in there somewhere. I couldn't tell it. My bad, people. Card number 129, Nolan Jones. Hope you liked it. Moving along. Card 130, Keibert Ruiz of the Washington Nationals. As you may recall, the Nationals and Dodgers swung a big trade in mid-2021 that brought Max Scherzer and Trey Turner to LA and contributed to my Giants getting knocked out of that year's playoffs, which we won't get into. But Ruiz was part of that big return, along with Josiah Gray. Ruiz has been the Nationals catcher pretty much since that time. It says here, the Washington Nationals assumed they would have a long-term solution behind the plate when they traded Max Scherzer and Trey Turner to the Dodgers for Keibert, among others, in 2021. Ruiz has done nothing to dissuade that opinion. Last year, he ranked very high among NL catchers in runners caught, stealing, pickoffs, doubles, and strikeout percentage. And also about Ruiz, he's not quite an all-star guy, but he's putting up decent numbers the last couple of years as Washington's catchers. They're still trying to rebuild and get back to contender status. So Keibert Ruiz, card number 130. Card number 131 is a man who was in the news just this very day, Cody Bellinger. Bellinger today, he's with the Dodgers at this time, now he's with the Yankees, was reported as having food poisoning from chicken wings he bought from food service, and he has vowed to stay away from them for 5 years at least. It was that bad. So Bellinger, or as I tried to call him after that aforementioned 2021 playoff series, Smellinger, he was the National League Player of the Week for April 18th through 24th of 2022, and what was overall a down year, but still. That gave him a running start on his comeback campaign. In 6 games, the former NL MVP hit 3 homers while adding 2 doubles, a triple, and 7 RBI. As you see here on the back, Bellinger did at one point put up very huge numbers for the Dodgers, but he had not done so in 21 or 22, was eventually moved on to the Cubs, where he resurrected his career in 23, slipped a little in 24, but was still in high enough demand to go on and be signed by the New York Yankees for 2025, where he developed food poisoning and has sworn off chicken wings for 5 years. Card number 132 is Mr. Gavin Sheets. A lot of power for this guy. He's not with the Padres, but here he's still with the White Sox. He was a prospect for them for a number of years, but he's been up. Check out the reverse. Sheets has been up since off and on 21. 11 home runs that year. Nice little slugging percentage, slugging over 500 that first year with the White Sox, not bad. And 15 homers in 2022, although his WAR was left a little to be desired. Blurb says, to make the transition from first base to the outfield, Gavin was able to lose 20 pounds, which all you have to do is run from first base to outfield about 40 times. You'll do that, while still adding speed and retaining his strength thanks to his workouts with a former professional football player. Now, is this former professional football player in the witness protection program? Is there a reason why we cannot say his name out loud? Or is it Ray Caruth? Is that why we couldn't? I don't know. But in any event, Gavin Sheets, he's now San Diego. He's card number 132. Card number 133 is Mr. Roberto Perez. Now, Roberto Perez, long career with the Indians. I don't think he made it to the Guardians era. We'll find out in a second. Briefly a Giant. He was going to be the Giants' number 2 catcher. I think he was going to share time with either Bart or Casali in 23. And within like a week of the season starting, he tore up his shoulder or something like that. I'll have that in the notes. And he was out for the rest of that season. And I'm not sure he's even been seen since. He was in camp with the Red Sox in 24. He only lasted 5 games with my Giants. Let's look on the reverse here. No, Roberto Perez did not make it to the Guardians era his last year. I can't. I already told you guys I can't stand the Cleveland. I don't know why you can't just acknowledge that the Indians existed, but I guess you have to just do what you are told. Indians is a bad word. 22 with the Pirates, Perez. 233 with 2 home runs, 8 RBI, about the same numbers you'd expect from him, except for that one bust out year he had 19. He was very good with a 4 WAR. Verb has a hamstring injury in May, terminated Roberto's first season with the Pirates in 2022, so he was down 2 years in a row, basically before the season even started. Poor man. He's been among the better defensive catchers of the decade, a 2-time Gold Glove Award winner with a magnificent arm. Why hasn't Topps gotten that settled yet with the purchase and the sale to the Fanatics people? They should no longer be screwing around and calling it fielding awards. It is called Gold Gloves. Why can't you just, little things like that just gnaw at me. Try not to let them, but sometimes I'm only human. Card number 134 is the Kansas City Royals team card. And you can see here, number 7, Bobby Witt Jr. I cannot identify number 41 offhand or the other gentleman in the picture. We'll have that in the notes. But let's check out the Royals 2022 season, in which they were 65-97, not good, but they were 39-42 at home, which at least they gave you somewhat of a chance there. The Royals were in a full youth movement mode by mid-22, with 25 and under kids such as Bobby Witt Jr., the 8th 20 homer, 30th stolen base rookie in history, utility man MJ Melendez, DH first baseman Vinny Pasquantino, outfielder Drew Waters, and several others showing exhilarating promise. No club's batch of rookies accounted for more hits, homers, RBIs, or steals. Well, no club had a batch of rookies. Most clubs have maybe a couple of rookies at most. Pitching-wise, Kansas City garnered 63% of its starts from that same age group, which is not really anything to brag about unless you're talking about like the early 10s Mets or something like that. But hey, it is what it is. BA, batting average, Bobby Witt Jr. was the team leader. Salvi, as usual, led him in home runs. Brad Singer was the wins leader. I think he had 8. I'll have that in the notes. No qualifier for the ERA title. And Salvi hit the longest home run, which for God knows what reason is not listed here. And since then, the Royals lost 106 games in 23. And then they made it to the playoffs last year, but they lost to the Yankees in the first round. I guess that'd be the second round now. The DS is the second round now. My bad. Skillz, you should know. Baseball has changed. Card number 135 is Mr. Buddy Kennedy. By the way, if I didn't say so, this is Skillz on cards. And we're going to go up to card number 150 this time around. We're at 135 now with Buddy Kennedy, who came up with the 22 Diamondbacks rookie card. But nowadays, rookie cards, you still get to have your full statistics shown on the back. And Buddy Kennedy was a .217 hitter with the D-backs in 22. He's bounced around since then with the Tigers and the Phillies. Just kind of scraps and cups of coffee. I don't think he's in the major leagues right now. Buddy, who hails from the same New Jersey town as Mike Trout, credits the Angel star for helping push him during off-season workouts back home. Dedication paid off in 22 as Kennedy earned a mid-season call-up. The rookie did a fine impression of his pal in his third game on June 19th, 22 by belting a grand slam. Did I say grand slam? Grand slam to key a 7-1 win over Minnesota. That's Buddy Kennedy, card number 135. At this point, you may hear a barking dog. Let's try not to acknowledge that. Card number 136. Now, this gentleman here, Dylan Bundy, before I pulled this card, I hadn't realized that Dylan Bundy was out of baseball and has been for some time. Bundy was a longtime starter for the Orioles, had a couple good years with him when they were making the playoffs and stuff last decade. But he moved on to Minnesota. I think it was with the Yankees before that. We'll find out in the blurb. And he's just, he apparently retired, has since retired from baseball, and gone into some other career. He got cut by the Mets in the middle of 23. And here on the reverse, we see that Bundy did have those good years with the Orioles. Moved on to the Angels for a couple of years where he was not always so effective. And then in 22, he's with the Twins. He's 8-8 in 29 games, 49 ERA. So he's not dreadful. He's not good. He's not dreadful. There's still some life left in that 30-year-old arm, but he chose to go in another direction. Dylan made a dominant debut with the Twins in 2022 as the only pitcher in franchise history to win his first 3 starts while allowing just 1 total run. That's pretty sharp. He downed the Mariners, Red Sox, and White Sox. Dylan Bundy, he had a good career, bro. I wouldn't surprise me if he just popped up again one day. He's still only, 33, 32? That was card number 136. Card number 136 gives us the long-time, and I mean the long-time Chicago Cub, Kyle Hendricks, who just only after this past 24 season moved on to the Angels. He was the last remaining member of the 2016 Cubs title team that was still there, and he was a good one for a long time. We're not talking like Hall of Fame, but he was right there contending for Cy Youngs for a couple years there with the Cubs until he slipped in 2024 very badly in the first half and and really completely got it back. Blurb. Through the first 8 years of his career, Kyle missed less than 10 weeks with injuries, but a sore shoulder took a chunk out of his 2022. He holds the Cubs' record of 74 straight starts of 8 or fewer hits. Is that really a record? Did you just now look it up? I mean, that cannot be. No one can actually be tracking that. Seriously. I did not know this, that Kyle Hendricks was originally a draft pick of the Rangers, that he was acquired in a trade with the Rangers. So I got to find out who that's for. I have an idea. I think it's Rich Harden, but I'm probably wrong. So that's Kyle Hendricks. Off to a good start with the Angels. Made one start. It was a good one, and then I haven't heard anything about him after that. Card number 138. This is going to be a quick one. Marcus Wilson, outfielder, Mariners. Didn't do a whole lot with the team. Was in the minor leagues for a very long time. Moved on to Worcester, however you pronounce it, in the Red Sox system in 2023, and then he retired from baseball. Wilson did have one good year in Salem in 2019, where he hit 342. But other than that, he was in the minors for a long time, like 9 seasons before he got called up for one hit in 3 games, 5 at bats with Seattle. He did draw a walk too. So Marcus Wilson, Godspeed, my friend. Not to be confused with Marcus Lawton, another outfielder who had a short career. Card number 139. We're getting a lot of landscape images here. Joe Barlow. Joe Barlow is he was the Texas Rangers closer for parts of the 21 and 22 seasons. He's kind of slipped off in 23 and has not been back in the major leagues since. He's moved around. I'll have that for you in a second. I just want to go over his blurb real quick. That Joe Barlow, when he wasn't being tortured by blisters in 2022, Joe was among the top closers in the AL. He carried a no earned run, 17 for 17 save streak from 21 into June, and his 13 saves as of the 22nd were 5th in the loop. So he was pretty sharp for a while. He did lose that closing job eventually, and as I mentioned, he's been DFA'd a couple times. He was with the White Sox system in 24, didn't make it to the majors. Last check, he was back with the Rangers system, but not in the majors. So Joe Barlow's career, we don't know which way it's going to go. He's still young enough to carve out a few more good seasons. If he can find his touch again, we shall see. That was card number 139. Card number 140, Lenyn Sosa, with very unique spelling for this young man. I've only known one Lennon, first name guy who went to college. I went to college with a guy named Lennon, but he spelled his like John Lennon. This Lennon here is a whole different sort of spelling, and he's a good little player. Didn't show much in 2022. As we check out the reverse, he was only 4 for 35 with that 114 batting average and a negative WAR. Lennon clubbed his maiden voyage White Sox homer during a 2-hit day on August 9th, 2022, helping his club to a 3-2 victory over the Royals. An aggressive sort with emerging power to all fields, he's been among the youngest player in every circuit he's tackled. That includes the American League, where 22-year-old Sosa checked in as the Loop's 9th youngest. So this is a young kid here, born in 2000, up in the majors at age 22, and he's stuck with the White Sox since. He's played some third base, played some second base. I think he had 8 home runs last season, as I try to recall certain things. And that's Lenyn Sosa, card number 140. Card number 141. And unlike Sammy Sosa, another White Sox prodigy or prospect from once upon a time, I don't think Sosa's going to hit 600 home runs, but he should have a good career. Jonah Heim. Jonah Heim is in the house. Card number 141. 23 top, Skillz on cards. And Jonah Heim has been the Rangers catcher and been an all-star catcher for a few years now. He was an all-star in 2023 when he hit 18 home runs with 95 RBI. He won the Gold Glove. Now he slipped the following year, but he's still holding down that spot. Helped the Rangers to that title, by the way, in 2023. In 2022, he hit .227 with 16 homers and 48 RBI in 127 games. Originally an A's prospect who was moved on to the Rangers, or he was drafted by the Orioles actually, moved on to the A's and then moved on to the Rangers. I don't know who for, we'll find that out. Long career in the minor leagues. I did not know Heim spent that much time in the minors. Heim was in the minors for 7 full seasons before he made it to the major leagues with the COVID Athletics, and but it looks like he's here to stay. Jonah Heim, 141, Texas Rangers. Card number 142, the man Lucas Giolito, former ace of the Chicago White Sox. At the time of this card's release, he was still the ace of the White Sox, I believe. If not, he was probably a close second. Giolito he's thrown a no-hitter. I think he's been a 20-game winner. He's been a very successful pitcher, but as of right now, he's recovering from arm surgery that he had last season after signing with the Red Sox. According to the blurb, beginning in 2021, extending through May 25th of 2022, Lucas allowed 3 or fewer earned runs in 16 consecutive starts. Only 3 of the White Sox pitchers in the last 50 years have topped that run. And look at the numbers there. You see, well, I don't know where I got 20 wins from. Not even close. But he had a 14-win season, a couple 11-win seasons, some decent ERAs. He's there. He was their guy for a while, and then he was traded in mid 2023. Played with the Angels for a minute. Played with the Guardians. He made a league high 33 starts that year, and did so spread among 3 teams. That has to be a first. That has to be an absolute first. Lucas Giolito making history. Totally by accident. Card number 142. As we move along, we're getting close to the end here. Skillz on cards, pile 6. This is card 143. Nestor Cortez. And if you've heard his name in the news, in sports news, dating back to last year's World Series, he's had a rough go of it. Cortez, drafted by the Yankees, but it took 3 stints with the Yankees for him to stick with them, which he finally did in 2021. 12-game winner in 2022, 12-4, 2.44 ERA, and threw a shutout, one of the few pitchers allowed to do that in recent years. On the frequent days that Nelson has his bottomless variety of pitches, motions, and pace working, hitters might as well be flailing it wiffle balls. I thought I spelled with H, but what do I know? In 2022, the deceitful southpaw ranked in the bottom 10% in fastball velocity, but top 30% in hard hit prevention. And there's much more percentages, which I'm not going to bore you with. April 17th, sets Yankees record 12 Ks and a stint as short as 5 innings pitched. So he had to work in that day. They don't put the team on there, but I'll tell you that team in the notes. Cortez, of course, was injured for the beginning of the 24 playoffs. Was activated for the World Series. Gives up the home run to Bellinger, the walk-off home run to Bellinger. It's still talked about, not Bellinger, I'm an idiot, to Freeman. That's still talked about to this day. And he also began this season, the 2025 season, as a Brewer, because Yankees traded him to get Devin Williams. Traded him to the Brewers, and he opens the season by allowing 3 straight home runs to the Yankees on 3 straight pitches. And they obviously were very familiar with his bag of tricks and were waiting for him and pounced on him. So that's Nestor Cortez. Card number 144. The longtime Seattle Mariner, the longtime 7 years with the Mariners, Marco Gonzalez ended up staying after 3 years with the Cardinals. Marco, just a solid left-hander. Just one of those guys you take for granted, like one of those Kirk Reeder type guys who just goes out there and before you know it, 6 innings, 3 runs every time, or fewer, or better. Marco joined the Mariners in mid-2017 via trade with the Cardinals. I have no idea who for. Put up some good years for Seattle, 13 wins, 16 wins. 22, he lost 15 games and just won 10, but you know, this is the way it goes sometimes. Not a lot of strikeouts, not a lot of walks either. Marco, a command-oriented pitch-to-contact left-hander, is a bedrock component of the Seattle Mariners rotation. Bedrock. It's not the Flintstones. No other pitcher is within 50 starts of his post for them the last 5 years. What is a post? What the hell is a post? I have no idea what that means. I've never seen that term before. Another slang term for quality start? I'm not even going to look that up. I don't even want to know. I'm just so I'm annoyed that they even put that on there. It's something that I'm so familiar with. Card number 145, Thor. If you've seen Thor movies, they're pretty good. Noah Syndergaard. Now, this is a guy who's going to go down in history as one of the biggest names of his time, but this is a guy who, in actuality, only really had a couple of great seasons for the Mets. Has come down with arm problems and bounced around, and he hasn't pitched in the major leagues since this 2022 season. And in that 2022 season, he was split between the Angels and Phillies. Not terrible numbers, just very pedestrian for him. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. It's 2023 that we last saw Thor in the major leagues, when he was awful for the Dodgers and slightly less awful for the Guardians. Noah reported to the Phillies with shorter hair and a shorter fastball than his pre-surgery prime as Thor, but immediately gave them a lift with a string of wins. He's now a 4-pitch maestro of command. Well, he's now a free agent. He hasn't Hasn't given up on returning to MLB, but he hasn't had a job in over a year, so we'll see what happens there. He's only 32, coming up on 33 years old, so maybe we've seen the last of Thor, maybe we haven't. Man, he was so good when he was good, but he didn't listen to people who tried to help him, so this is what you get. 5 more cards to go here in pile 6, Skills on Cards. Card number 146 is Alex Verdugo, who's probably been among the most overhyped young players of his time. Traded to the Red Sox, of course, in the Mookie Betts deal from the Dodgers, which is why the Red Sox didn't panic after that deal. But he has not lived up to his billing, his advanced billing. He's not been a terrible player, don't get me wrong, but look at the numbers as we go to the reverse here. 12 homers, 44 ribbies, a 294 average. Okay, there's something to build on there, but the average has been high, but the production has just been tepid. Just nowhere near what Mookie would give you. And for the blurb, we have Red Sox fans, walk-off wins are extra special when they occur against the rival Yankees. On July 9th, 22, Alex treated him to a tilt-tying single, there's a first, in the 8th inning and a game-ending hit in the 10th. So Verdugo had it going on against his future team, the Yankees, who he played with in 2024. Joined them as a free agent, I believe, and helped them to the World Series. And then he got off. He didn't sign with the team until March of this year. Hooked up with, I believe it was Atlanta Braves. Verdugo, yes, and he's currently ramping up to join the big league squad. He's ramping up in the minor leagues. So Verdugo is going to continue his career, and we'll see what kind of numbers he puts up. He's a good player, just not a great player. Card number 147 is the former major leaguer Daniel Vogelbach. Yes, he's already retired from the MLB since this card was released. The big guy, a lot of power, a lot of popularity, a lot of teams. With the Mets in 2022, prior to that, you know, we've seen him with Seattle Mariners, we've seen him with the Blue Jays, seen him with the Brewers. He was a Pirate to start the 22 season, as we see here on the reverse. 12 homers, 34 RBI, and the Mets were like, I gotta get me some of that. So they traded for him, and he hit 6 more homers. So an 18-homer season, which is second most of his career behind a breakout 30-homer season of 19. The popular, productive, and portly Vogelbach put a charge into the Mets offense after being acquired last July to serve as a platoon DH. He compiled a 400 on-base percentage of 900 OPS in his first 20 games for them. And now Vogelbach is working for Toronto he was finished up with Toronto in 24. Didn't do so well, so he retired and decided to move into coaching, and he's a hitting assistant for the Pirates this season. And Lord knows the Pirates need all the help they can get, so hopefully Vogie helps them with a little bit of their on-field problems, and he can help them turn things around a little bit, because they're not off to a good start this year. They're 4-8. Card number 148, speaking of 4-8, card number 148 is showing up blurry for some reason. Okay, that helped a little bit. Let's start over. Card number 148 is Mr. Seth Brown, who I believe is now the longest tenured Oakland A with the trade of Paul Blackburn. Sacramento A, whatever. Brown is a guy who's played a number of different positions. Not a superstar, but he comes up with big clutch hits. He can run a little bit. He gets hit in the head every season at least once. Blurb has Mr. Brown, Seth Brown, overcoming the anonymity of being a 19th round MLB draft choice. It's been an ever-looming home run threat, especially against righties, for Oakland over the past 2 seasons. In 21, he ranked among the top 5 AL rookies in slugging and long balls. Brown finished among the league leaders in game-winning RBI last season. So Seth Brown had a couple breakout years in 21 and 22. He has not matched those numbers in 23 or 24, but he's only 32, and so we'll see where he goes next couple of years playing that little minor league ballpark up in Sacto. That is if the A's decide to even keep him around. I can't believe he's lasted 7 years. No one lasts 7 years with the A's anymore. Penultimate card, 149, Josiah Gray. We mentioned him earlier. Part of that trade with the Dodgers and the Nationals in 21 when he was just a pup. Future star Josiah Gray. And he was headed that way too up until 24 started. He made 2 starts in 24 and had to have Tommy John surgery. Hasn't made it back since, but he will be back. Josiah Gray, Nationals. Josiah's results haven't yet caught up to his stuff, but in 22, his exit velocity, fastball velo, and blah blah blah, all ranked well above average. He began his career unbeaten in his first 14 road starts. which isn't to say he necessarily won those starts, but you get what I'm saying. So he had some potential. 7-10, 502 ERA rating, 22 when he was only 24 years old. He followed that up in 23, had a pretty decent year, 30 starts, 8-13, 391 for the rebuilding Nats. And then, as we told you, he had a surgery. Now, one thing about Gray I didn't know, he originally became a Dodger in the first place. He wasn't drafted by them. He was drafted by the Reds and went to the Dodgers in the Matt Kemp deal from way back. So Josiah Gray already been in 2 blockbusters, already had Tommy John surgery, all before the age of 27. Or, sorry, 28. He's 27 now. And we're going to close things here in pile 6. We're going to close things here with a man who usually occupies card number 1 in the top sets. He's probably done it at least 3 times. I'm going to go back and check and see just how many times Ronald Acuna has been card number 1 for the top sets. But here he's card number 150. He did not win the vote this year because they vote on that now on Twitter, X. Acuna, superstar, could do it all. 23, most valuable player in the National League. Stole 73 bases, hit 41 home runs, batted .337. He was not directly involved in the Braves winning the 21 World Series, but he was on the team for the first half of the year before he got hurt. But unfortunately, he is currently hurt again, recovering from a torn ACL, suffered in mid-24. Ronald Acuna Jr., although a surgically repaired knee, that was the first one, required periods of rest in 2022. He returned from his injury of July 21 with his wheels still wearing. He was the first player since Albert Pujols in 2009-10 to lead his league in fan votes for the MLB All-Star Game. What? That doesn't make sense. Unless they mean in consecutive years. Because someone had to lead the league in votes every year. They must mean he was the first player to lead the league in fan votes in consecutive years, is what I'm guessing that means. On August 5th, Acuna became the 13th man with at least 500 hits, 100 homers, and 100 steals before turning 25. And it's hard to believe, as long as he's been around, he's still just 27. And he's still got a chance to hit a lot more home runs, steal a lot more bases, but he's got to stop getting hurt. He's got to stop getting hurt. He's hurt every year. And in 24, while we didn't get to see Acuna in the second half of the season, we did see his little brother, how do you pronounce his name? Luis Angel Acuna for the Mets. And he had at least one. He hit at least one home run for the Mets. The little brother did. So that's going to do it for pile 6. Thank you for coming along for the ride. Thank you for listening to me ramble on and on and on and on and on about the likes of Ronald Acuna and Cody Smellinger and Lucas Giolito and Thor, so many others. It was good. It was a good round. We're going to keep it going. We're going to do pile 7 here sooner rather than later. I would hope, as I finally aim to put my 2023 top set in a storable album. It's been sitting in a box. It's been sitting in boxes ever since I bought it, because I've been wanting to present it for you here on YouTube and videos, and so it's probably time to put it away. So I am Skillz. This has been Skillz on Cards. We will be back.